Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in Friday, May 15th edition of the show. This is Winning Cures Everything. I'm Gary.
I'm Chris.
And we have got some football stuff to talk about today. Yesterday was a bit of a reach, but today we got some crazy-ass stories going on in this sport, and by God, I'm ready to discuss it. You can go to the website, winningcureseverything.com, if you want to know anything else about us. It's got everything you need over there. All of our picks, previews, podcasts, videos, social media platforms, etc. Matt already jumps in on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed at any of the live locations: Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Matt said, y'all got stories about murder hornets? Boy, he's been on this for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That's insane. Make sure you subscribe on the podcast. In case you miss a live show, you don't have time to go back and watch an actual video, we got your podcast ready. It's all good. It goes up right after the show every single day. I will have it up as soon as we get done today. And then I got some stuff to tend to a little early. Michael said, what's up, fellas? Happy Friday. Happy Friday indeed. We got UFC coming tomorrow. We're not previewing this one. There ain't a whole lot going on with it, but I'll still be watching. So, but yeah. Matt said, be lucky Terry isn't on here as well. I can imagine all of that bunch, man. I'm sure you got it all up in the murder hornets and whatnot. But we are not discussing murder hornets. We are talking NFL and college football today. First off, Chris, it's been a long week. How's your Friday been?
Friday's been okay. Not too bad. Not too bad.
I saw the tequila bottles you sent over earlier.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about them. Which, like, you said The Rock has a tequila.
Did you not know that? You follow like booze stuff all the time. Yeah, The Rock.
I follow bourbon.
Rock,
I don't.
And I'm 100% certain The Rock purchased a tequila company. Okay, if I had to guess. And so we don't. Our liquor stores around don't carry it, but I was out and about in the Memphis area and went into one just to kind of sniff around, see what they got. They usually have the good tequila I like, and found that. And then also saw that they had The Rock stuff. And so I was like, there you go. I'll get this. I'll try it. It's cheap. It was $29. That's cheap.
That's not bad. Not bad.
Because good tequila is not $29.
No, it's definitely. Well, I don't know, man. That stuff that I got the other week, man.
No, it's not.
It's super smooth for me.
No, it's not.
It's super smooth for me. And look, but I like the cheap shit. So, what are you going to do? That's it. I'll tell you this. It gets me where I want to go. Well, that's all I need. So, Michael said, let's get to 100 today, talking about the comments in the chat. We're going a little earlier than usual. I doubt we'll get to that point, but it's a nice goal.
We'll see if other people jump in.
We'll see if you guys get fired up talking about this stuff, because, man, y'all were fired up yesterday about that Blake Snell stuff. Good gracious. McKinnon said, still at work, but I'll hop in if I get off before y'all are done. If not, y'all have a good weekend. McKinnon, be good, my brother. Michael said, got a way to play some golf this morning. Great way to start a Friday. And he said, have y'all tried Screwball peanut butter whiskey yet? Absolutely.
So my brother has had that several times, keeps telling me about it. I'm trying to stay away from anything too sweet. I love it.
I can't drink sweet stuff, man. I can't.
Oh, I can. I absolutely can. But the problem is it's easy to drink. I drink it. So back in the day when the Firefly sweet tea whiskey came out, vodka came out, like it tastes like sweet tea. And I was at Barbecue Fest in Memphis in May that we don't have this year. And
you do in October.
And I was filling up cups and drinking it like sweet tea. And I will not exaggerate when I tell you that night I lost my pants and drove home in my boxers, slept in my boxers and undershirt and somebody else's tent, not mine.
Oh my God.
No like hanky panky, nothing sexual.
I understand that.
At some point in time it probably got hot and I didn't care.
Right. Michael said it's delicious in moderation. I can only drink a little bit. Look, I had a friend that gave me a bottle of salted caramel whiskey. It's like Old Tennessee whiskey or something like that. And I like it. I can drink it if I mix it with another bourbon. Like even just a cheap.
No, you just got to drink.
Give me some Benchmark or something.
No, those things are made to drink just the way they are. Yeah, my brother's drank a bunch of it the last couple of weeks, and he keeps yelling at the people bringing it over to his house because if they leave it. He gone. Just polishes. It's so it's so easy to just drink.
Oh yeah, because it's
icy
sugar,
cold,
man.
and it goes down.
Look, you're talking to a guy that can't even drink a Dr. Pepper. So like, I'm black coffee, and straight bourbon. Like that's.
Oh no, my taste buds are still the taste buds of a child. When I'm dieting, I can't even have coffee because I am a child.
You got to be putting all that French vanilla,
peanut butter whiskey. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna just one day I'm gonna have that, and then I'm gonna get sick, and that's okay. It's all right. I've been sick before. It's all right.
Oh my God, let's move into some football talk. Let's get this show on track. The NFL announced today a preseason schedule. Now, it's one thing to not say anything and just move forward with everything that is planned, right? And this is a planned thing, right? Preseason is planned out, scheduled, whatever. But we've got like the Rams and San Francisco and all these different teams. You know, Yahoo has got a big thing up. The Redskins, the 49ers, the Bears, the Lions, that all have August home preseason games. Like the 49ers are hosting the Raiders August 21st, presumably in San Francisco. Now, this is fantastic. This is great. And Frank Schwab is the guy that wrote it, but he said, while there's still hope the NFL will play a regular season, even if it's in front of empty stadiums, the preseason might be a different story. While wiping out the whole preseason, shortening it, or playing it to use it as a testing ground all seem like viable options, NFL teams started releasing preseason schedules with specific dates for the August games. I'm not going to say that I'm shocked, but I think if you are a business that is planning on operating like normal, the NFL has nailed this. They do not have anybody officially talking to any reporters, anything like that. They're just going about it as if this thing does not exist.
That's right.
Is this the right way to go about things?
I kind of think it is, and then you just wait and get to a point where
if something has to change, then you do it.
Someone tells you to stop. And like the 49ers and like the California teams and like the Washington team, whatever, like at some point in time, maybe the New York teams, at some point in time, those teams might have to adjust what they're doing. They're on the calls with all these things, okay?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's getting I think they're just moving forward. And they're just saying, look, we're going to play this thing out, and we'll just see what happens.
So he asked the question here. He said, will there be a preseason? After a couple of months without many mainstream sports to watch other than a couple UFC cards, sports fans would happily sign up for an exhibition football game with 4-string players fighting for a roster spot. It seems like quite a challenge for the NFL. Charles Robinson wrote a deep breakdown state by state that offers how insane it's going to be to try and do this. But he said, would the NFL really go through a similar hassle for games that don't count? Like canceling the preseason would be a blow for lesser-known players trying to win a job, coaches wanting to evaluate the roster, and personnel evaluators who use preseason film to find players. But it seems hard to believe that a 4-week preseason schedule will happen. Now, he said, like everything else this year, we'll see. At least if the NFL plans on moving forward with the preseason games, we know the dates. I was a little bit shocked about it, and I'm beginning to think anything with the NFL, maybe I just shouldn't be shocked.
I'm going to tell you this. When I saw this, I kind of began to have this opinion that I think the NFL is going to have fans in the stands too. I just think they're not going to care. They're going to sell tickets. They're going to offer tickets to the public. If you want to come, you can. If you don't have to. No one's putting a gun to your head and making you go. But I think they are going to go forward with business as usual. I have no idea how it's going to work out. But I don't think they're worried about anybody telling them what they can and can't do. And if a governor or a mayor or somebody tries to stop them, I think they'll punt and they'll say, okay, we're not playing those games in San Francisco. We'll play them in San Antonio. We'll find a place to put them.
Yeah, we're gonna play them somewhere.
Yeah, we'll find a place for them.
Yeah. Matt, by the way, jumping back to the alcohol conversation, said if you mix all 5 White Claws together in your Yeti cooler, it tastes like Starburst with the wrappers on them mixed with a felony trespassing charge. Michael, jumping back into this conversation, he's a Broncos season ticket holder. He said they still haven't let us pick seats.
Yeah,
that's where it gets a little bit crazy. Like you can move forward, you can go through all this different stuff. You ain't sold a ticket yet.
Not yet. Not yet. And like I said, they might not. But I don't know what it was when I saw that article today and I sent it to you. I said, my first thought was, man, I think they're just going to say, look, none of us know really what's going to happen with this deal. So we're just going to go after it. We're going to try. And if something happens, we'll make sure that every ticket has on the back of it, just like if you get hit in the face with a foul ball or something, you can't say, like if you get the Rona, you get sick in our state, you can't sue us. You're here on your own discretion.
Yeah, your own volition. Yeah.
I think they're going to play. I think they're going forward.
I was on SBR.
I think that they are going to be having conversations with these other governors, universities, school-like places to figure out if certain states say no, who's going to say yes, and where do we go?
Yeah. Michael said at this point last year, we already had our seats picked out for the year. I haven't heard a date for us to select them. Yeah. I think that's a big thing. I was on with Sportsbook Review this morning, and we were discussing this, whether the NFL was going to start on schedule, et cetera. And I said it's 100%. I said, yes, the NFL slows down for nobody. Like, that is what it is. Now,
I really think they think we can push through this pandemic.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. There's enough of them that probably believe you absolutely can. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There's a major sect of the population, and it's growing every day, that believes we flattened the curve. We did what we were supposed to do. And now at some point in time, we got to go back to normal life. And if you don't want us to trickle back into normal life and all go full blown, then at some point in time, you have to start turning the faucet. And if you don't start turning the faucet and we blow it wide open come August, that ain't on us. That's on y'all.
Yeah, 100%. One of the questions that they asked was the idea of, okay, say they can't have 65,000 people in the stadium. Could they have some fans? So I brought back up the Dolphins idea of, 15,000 people, which we've joked isn't that much different from a regular Dolphins game. But I think across the league, I mean, if you're looking at just, 20, say it's 1/3 full, or some of the restaurants are like quarter capacity, like do it 1/4 of the stadium, and you had like the people that you show up with or who you get to sit with and all that kind of stuff, but you stay.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna sell the tickets. I think if they let one in, they're gonna let everybody in.
They might.
I really do.
I'm not at this point. I am not surprised by anything that the NFL does. Not a damn thing. Now, that moves us on to the next topic, because this was a little bit surprising. We heard about this after the show yesterday. Warrants have been issued for the arrests of New York Giants cornerback Deandre Baker, who's a Georgia kid, and Seattle Seahawks cornerback Quinton Dunbar, who is a Florida kid, by the Miramar, Florida Police Department, stemming from an incident that occurred on Wednesday, May 13th. Baker has been charged with 4 counts of armed robbery with a firearm and 4 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm, while Dunbar has been charged with 4 counts of armed robbery. And it continues. Per the police report, Baker took money and watches from victims with force and was armed with a semi-automatic firearm. Dunbar was assisting Baker in taking the money and valuables from attendees at a party in Miramar, Broward County. The pair were allegedly hanging at a cookout when an argument ensued, resulting in Baker revealing a semi-automatic firearm. Baker allegedly directed a third member, wearing a red mask, to shoot a person who entered the party, but the gun was not fired. Thank God. Both Baker and Dunbar are believed to have taken over 3 timepieces, including an $18,000 Rolex watch and another worth $25,000. Baker and Dunbar also took $7,000 in cash. 2 affiants did not see Dunbar with a firearm, but one said the opposite. A spokesperson for the police department there said there have been discussions with at least one of the players' representatives about turning himself in, but neither has done so at this time. So they are both at large. One witness told the police that Baker and Dunbar lost over $70,000 at a party in Miami days earlier on gambling, some from high-stakes card games. Another witness said those involved in the robbery all left in 3 different vehicles. You're going to love this, by the way. One a Mercedes-Benz, one a Lamborghini, and one a BMW, which were pre-positioned for immediate departure from the scene of the crime. So apparently it all started over a gambling dispute. Nobody has been incarcerated as of yet. This is absolutely bonkers. Who in their right mind robs a party full of people that you know? with a firearm, especially if you are an NFL player. I understand that these guys, with rookie deals, and Dunbar just got traded to the Seahawks from the Redskins.
You're
and
gambling
all that, but
$70,000 worth of money that you lost. You're not. That's on you, by the way. That's on you.
I mean, you're not going to go up and shoot up a casino.
No, that is on you.
This whole thing is bananas. What do we? So I can't remember if it was Cecil Hurd or maybe Chris Felica, somebody else that tweeted to Spencer Hall from Banner Society. I don't know how many people keep up with this, but they said, can this retroactively go on the former Cup, which was, the college football team that had the most arrests, right? So in Georgia.
Well, since those old Tennessee days, Georgia has taken the Cup
100%.
Pretty much every year.
Now, I found it funny that one kid went to Florida and the other went to Georgia. Like, that was kind of funny. But in today's society, it doesn't matter. Like, everybody's friends with everybody. It doesn't matter. But it is definitely – it's definitely something else. Michael said, by the way, I think everybody should be that way. Stay home if you want, but if you're willing to take a risk and go give Americans the freedom of choice – he said, sounds like they may be part of that 70% we were talking about yesterday. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Give me your thoughts on this. Tell me what you're thinking.
Robbing a party that you're a part of is just one of the, I guess, low-class things I could ever imagine somebody doing. And robbing people to get money back that you lost in a gamble. Now, you and me know we're gamblers. We bet on things. I think a bet is a sacred thing. I truly yes. do. I mean, I've said it before. I will, back when I was struggling for money and in college and betting things that I probably shouldn't have been betting, like I would have paid my gambling debts before I would have ever paid my bills. Yes. I just believe I was raised by someone who taught me that all you have in this life is your word. And if you don't stand behind it, then nothing else in the rest of your life matters. I believe betting, especially betting with people yes, it's a big part of that. You're not betting with a machine. You're not betting with a computer. You're not betting with a casino. You're betting with people that you know. And if you're not willing to lose that money, or you're going to hate them for taking your money, man, you are the definition of a child.
Nobody makes you gamble. Like,
no.
Period. No. If you feel strongly about something and it doesn't turn out, that sucks. Sorry, brother. Like, it is what it is. We have all lost bets. Yeah. But the fun part is sometimes you win. Like,
and if you're betting money you don't have, then that's on you and nobody else. Not the people who you bet with. They shouldn't have let you. Man, I've heard people tell me that all my life growing up. They shouldn't let them get in a hole like that. No, but man,
it ain't
you
on
are
them.
Responsible for your own actions.
Yes. 100%. Like, that's what this whole thing is. So what do you think the NFL does here? Like, obviously this is going to be part of the personal conduct thing, right?
I think but depending on how good these players are, I think these guys are going to get cut. Definitely suspended. Definitely.
Now
suspended.
Dunbar has only been in the league 1 year.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Not Dunbar. Sorry, Baker. Dunbar has been in the league.
Me and cornerbacks, okay? Yeah. Unless you've been in the league for several years, it's hard to tell you, are you a great cornerback or not, okay? So I got no way to really evaluate these guys. I'm just telling you, I think they're going to – because they are pretty young, they're probably not going to get cut, but they're probably both going to get suspended. Or do they go on the exemptioners, the commissioner's exempt list? How long? I don't know. I don't know any of that. But they're going to suffer something.
Oh, it's something drastic.
And they should suffer something from the state, by the way. This is not something where, I'm just going to get an attorney and I get myself out of this. No, you rob these people, and these are people you know. These are people. This is not some stranger down the street or whatever.
Yeah. Now, they do have witnesses, but it is still currently alleged. Whatever that means, right? Like, it's Michael, by the way, jumped in and said, not surprising at all. We had a guy hold up a gas station wearing some goofy-ass T-shirt and a mask. He came in a couple of days later for an interview wearing the exact same T-shirt. I swear to God.
Yeah. I mean, these guys aren't Einstein. I do
believe faith in humanity drops every day. It's just remarkable.
I don't know. My expectations are pretty low, but
I try and stay positive, Chris. I
swear to God. I try to be real.
I try and stay positive, and it's so
shit
hard.
From anybody, really, at all.
When you see crap like this come up, it's just like, what are we even doing? Like, this is in the middle of a damn quarantine. And I understand Florida's a whole different country at this point, but, like, good God. Like, you got one player that plays for the Giants, the other for the Seahawks. Like, I would think that those two parts of the world, these guys would know what's going on, right?
But they're not. They don't care. They're quarantining in Florida because Florida's looser, and Florida's just a lot more fun to be at. I mean, if I had the means to be stuck somewhere, I'd rather be stuck in the beach.
Agreed. Which I looked at beach prices for later on this summer, by the way, just to take, my wife and child down, for 2-3 days, whatever, to get away. Beach prices in 30A right now are astronomical.
Yeah.
They are so much more than they typically are. It is stupid. Oh, God. Michael said my wife gets on me daily for being jaded and not trusting people. Hey, look, we're on the same boat here.
No, like, yeah, I am a complete cynic. And I get yelled at a lot by it. I mean, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. We both deal with that from our loved ones. It is what it is. I was raised on it though. My father doesn't trust anybody. He still refuses to put his credit card in the computer. So, which there's something to be said for that. But it is what it is. Everybody lives a little differently. But this whole thing with Dunbar and with Baker, I'm a little floored. And it should kind of scare us about the NFL season, because it's one thing to not really worry about it. It's another to know that they are all out, partying, a large percentage.
That's all of these guys in all of these professional sports. They are young. They are dumb. They've got money to burn. They don't give a shit, man.
And if they come back,
the hockey players are not exempt from this.
No, of course not.
Players are not exempt from this.
But it does make you think what's going to happen when they come back, and if some of them test positive, what are they going to do? Like, and they don't have a plan.
They're not going to be able to play. They're not going to kick the whole team out. They're just going to say,
No, I'm with you, but
go.
You got to.
You don't get paid today. Sorry.
Yeah, I understand you. Oh my God, it's just ridiculous. I wonder if you could. I mean, you can't fine somebody for. Well, no, you wouldn't fine them. You just wouldn't pay them.
Well, if you suspend them, then they can be. If the commissioner's exempt list means they got to be paid.
Well, no, I'm not talking about these guys. I'm talking about for players that come back if they test positive for coronavirus.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to bet there's something in their contract to where if they can find out where they got the coronavirus from and it wasn't a league function thing, they ain't going to pay them their contract.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that.
You miss 2 weeks, you miss 2 weeks of pay. Hit the bricks.
That's crazy.
You want to go see that girl? Go on. Get the Rona.
Go on. Do your thing.
Hope it was fun.
Oh, my God. Okay, let's...
The game checks a lot. This game checks like $200,000.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. I mean, we're talking crazy money.
Yeah.
For a lot of these guys, anyway.
Yeah, for a lot of these guys.
Let's go ahead and move on. We'll wrap up with this. MAC college football. Now, this is, Ohio, Toledo, Akron, Bowling Green, whatever.
Toledo is Ohio, by the way.
Yeah, I'm talking about Ohio, like Ohio.
You're talking about universities.
Yeah.
I thought you were going through like states that the MAC is in.
No. Bowling Green, Toledo,
Akron. As much as Ohio probably doesn't want to claim Toledo, they're in Toledo.
They are in Ohio. They are going through cost-cutting measures right now. Now, obviously, yesterday it was announced that Akron is cutting 3 different sports. I want to say a track team and like a volleyball team, something like that. They're cutting teams. Bowling Green today announced that they are immediately cutting men's baseball. So they are cutting some of the smaller sports that are kind of drains on their finances, right? So One of the things that was brought up, Dr. David Ridpath, who we've had on the show multiple times, he brought up yesterday, like, why don't they go through and cut some of the fat off elsewhere? You don't need 10 football assistants. You don't need, just because the NCAA says you can have them doesn't mean that you have to have that many. You can cut fat other places.
How many assistant ADs do Wetzel and Forty and Pete Thamel talk about?
Oh my God.
Like that literally their only job is following around the defensive coordinator and helping him with any recruiting stuff that he needs or whatever. Like there's like 20 of those guys sitting around an office doing
now, a lot of these are Power 5 schools, right?
Yes.
But at a school like this, like Akron, like Bowling Green, whatever, there's not a ton of those, right? The support staff.
But here's the thing: there's not a ton of them, but there are some of them, and it's okay to shoot all those guys in the head.
Yeah, I mean, really,
let's just tear every one of those contracts up. Bam,
yeah,
all you guys hit the bricks.
I think universally people would rather that happen as opposed to you not have
losing
sports,
a sport.
Yeah, for these kids to be able to play. Like, and I understand that not all of them are necessarily scholarship opportunities.
Doesn't matter.
But even still, you want the kids to have opportunities as many places as they can to go play a collegiate sport. Like, that's what you want.
Those other people are there strictly to make someone else's job easier, not necessarily to do someone else's job. That means that other person just has to do their damn job.
Yes. So their
job might have gotten a little more difficult because they're used to farming it out to some scrub. Okay. We're getting rid of all those scrubs, and now you just have to do it. You're highly compensated as coordinators and assistant coaches. You have to do these piddly, meaningless jobs.
Yeah. So, along with that, there are other places that you can cut fat. And the Mid-American Conference, I believe, will be the first of many to begin this practice.
This is the easiest thing in the world to do.
Yeah, they are ending the practice of home teams staying in hotels the night before football games, according to league sources. It says the MAC will also reduce the size of travel rosters as the league continues to cut costs with its 12 universities facing financial hardship in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, we'll get to the rest of this article momentarily. It says, with each MAC school facing millions in losses and likely enrollment declines for the next school year, football teams will stay in hotels only on the road, and fewer players will now go to conference road games. And they're trimming the road team or the road player limit from 76 players to 70,
which is fine.
Which is I mean, even
non-noticeable at all.
Even that. I mean, my God, NFL teams are 53 players. I mean, you don't have to have that many, and it does suck for the players that don't make the travel roster.
Okay, but you can sit at home. That's fine. That's part of it.
Even still. Now, I went back. I was trying to find where anybody else had written about this. The Star-Telegram down in Texas, they wrote an article back in 2014 discussing this because I was curious. I had seen numbers thrown around all over the place, and I saw a couple others. Like Alabama spends over $60,000 every Friday night before home game to have their guys stay at a hotel in town. And it's, typically a top-of-the-line hotel. But it says, like, on this article, the accommodations before the Longhorns' home opener were fit for a high-rolling Texas X, a custom buffet for $79. If the all-you-can-eat spread wasn't enough, there's a $20 snack later that night. Around midnight, when the hunger pangs strike again, the hotel came through with a $24 late snack. The next morning, for $36, the eggs came every which way. And that was followed by a pregame lunch for $29. That is all per person. These were not fans at the Omni Austin Hotel at South Park the night before the Texas Longhorns opened their season against North Texas. It was the 120 or so Texas football players. The total bill for a stay a little more than 5.5 miles from Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium, over $39,000. Now, that was in 2014. The numbers that I have seen most recently, due to expanded football staffs, etc., and the rising price of hotel accommodations, big-time Power 5 schools pay over $60,000 per Friday night. Now,
for Saturday night, Saturday morning, for every home game, and this is not a situation where you play 6 home games, 6 road games, okay?
No,
these teams are playing more and more games at home.
Yeah, now, if you've got a neutral site, that's one thing. But typically the big-time schools are playing at least 7 home games. Right. So if you do the math on that, 60,000 times 7, 420,000. Now, a school like Alabama, Texas, etc., they have it, right? Now, a school like Akron, we're going to cut that number. We're going to cut it in half. We're going to say it's $30,000, and they've got 6 home games a year. Now, it may be a little less than $30,000, but we're just going with that. 30,000 times 6 is $180,000. You just cut 3 employees.
Yeah.
But like you saved 3 employees' jobs by doing that.
Correct.
$180,000 right there, along with some of the other measures that they're going through. That is, I mean, that saves a sport in a lot of these cases.
Like one of these non-revenue sports, like their cost, one of the reasons they're non-revenue and it doesn't hurt things is because they just don't cost a lot to operate.
Right. Now they may operate in the red
and save like gymnastics or baseball. Like you can do those things.
Yeah, Michael said that's a great way to deal with, at least the kids still get their education. If you're bummed out about not making the travel roster, get better. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you're not hurt by any of it. And the other thing that you got to cut out, and this needs to be cut out across the board too, is injured players traveling as well. Because it's something that didn't used to happen, but now, like, we want that leadership in the locker room. So Bill on his crutches is still going to be right there with the clipboard. Like, no. Bill, we have a coach that can hold the clipboard and rah-rah.
The coach needs to do the rah-rah.
Yeah, you stay home. We're not going to pay all those numbers you added up, roughly break down to a couple $100 per person. We're not paying that for you to be broken on the sidelines.
Yes. And I mean, it goes with major schools as well. Like Alabama could afford to take Tua last year.
But there's no reason to have those right now. They spend it because we've talked about this before. You bring this up all the time. They're nonprofits. They have the money and they can't keep it.
Yeah.
They can't roll it over as a profit center for the next year. So they have to spend it. So there's nothing stopping them, but it's still a gross misappropriation of funds. It's also dirty dealings because you got this backhanded circle jerk going on with the people who run the hotel. Who do you think one of the biggest donors are? Well, the people that get $60,000, 3 times a month for 3 months from the team. Oh, the team's staying there, so every other hotel is going to be sold out. I inflate the price. Oh, I'll cut Alabama a check. I'll cut this coach a check or this donor this AD a check. Yeah, I got an emergency 20 for you.
I mean, and that doesn't even include, the basketball teams that do this, et cetera.
No,
I mean, it's insane.
It's just a cycle of money that goes around to the same people over and over again, and none of it's getting passed to the students, but we're giving them eggs.
Yep, you got it. The article says, by the way, this is in the Toledo Blade. They were the first to report it. It says the changes are the first for football, but the latest in the conference's broad efforts to save money in future academic years. On Tuesday, the MAC announced it would be ending postseason tournaments for 8 non-revenue sports, beginning with the 2020-2021 school year. Changes, it said, would last for a period of 5 years. There will be no MAC tournament for men's or women's soccer, baseball, softball, men's or women's tennis, women's lacrosse, and women's field hockey. The recipient of the conference's NCAA tournament bid in those 8 sports will be determined by the regular season. It makes sense, right? That makes sense. The other side of this is the MAC also cut back on postseason tournaments for other sports, including basketball. The new format for the MAC tournament will be exclusive by featuring the top 8 finishers instead of all 12. The league eliminated the first round of the conference basketball tournament, which was played on the campus of the higher seed, and will send all 8 quarterfinalists straight to Cleveland to begin play. The women's volleyball tournament now will feature only 4 teams instead of 8. Other changes include the swimming and diving championships will take place on 3 days instead of 4. Golf championships will be 2 days instead of 3. And the outdoor track and field championships, previously held across 3 days, will now join indoor track as a 2-day event. Basically, they're taking all of these minor things and all of it combined, all the savings combined
will save a sport
are going to save.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll save the conference a ton of money. It's going to save the schools a ton of money. And it doesn't look like it's that big of a deal, but it's a pretty big thing. And I think that the MAC is the first of many conferences that is going to go forward with this because it's just smart. Like, it's just a smart way of going about it. These guys have never been accused of being smart businessmen, right? Like, that's...
No, I've always been very frustrated with the big boy schools. My school is one of them, by the way, of just pissing away money just to piss it away, just to show people we've got the newest, shiniest thing. And I get that you can't carry it over and we've got it brought in. Like, tell the donors to quit, save that money. Listen, I'll tell you the same thing I told my mama a long time ago, okay? She's always been, she didn't have a lot. She's never had a lot, but she's always been one to where if she does for one of me or my brother, she does for both of us. And my brother moved into a new house years and years and years ago. needed a bunch of updates on the house, didn't have the money to do it, had to borrow money from mama. Mama gave him a couple $1,000, called me up and said, hey, took out a loan, and I'm going to give you the same money I gave him because I feel like, don't keep
like
that.
Don't worry about it being even.
Because at that moment in time, I don't need it. And in the same story, I told her I would tell all my boosters if I was AD. I can't tell you there won't be a day where I won't knock on your door and say, hey, I need some help.
Yeah.
But that day ain't today, okay?
Yeah.
And when I call, know that I have exhausted every other means before calling you. So when I call, take it and take it seriously. And man, what do you think would happen to your boosters? Now, instead of just handing you money, they'll pay for sponsorships. They'll pay for advertising. They'll do more scrupulous things, more things with more integrity to them than just handing you a bunch of cash and saying, let me in the locker room with the kids and shake hands and get pictures with them in their underwear. Like nobody because that's all they get now for being boosters.
Yeah. Let's see. This is interesting. Matt said one issue with sports that athletes do multiple events like track and swimming is competing on the same day can affect them. That's true.
You just got to pick. You just have to pick one, and that's part of it.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks.
I mean, I don't think that's a knock, by the way. I don't think that's negative. We're allowing you to take place in a sport to where some schools, because of money, is going to lose swimming or they're going to lose track.
Yeah.
So we're keeping both of them. You can practice at both of them, but on meet days, if there's a meet on the same day, you got to pick which one you want to do. No one's going to tell you.
Yeah,
but
you
don't
just decide.
Get to do both. And if that's the only hindrance you got, come on, man. We're trying to save your damn sport, period.
Yeah. No, you're right.
You got to give a little if you're that unique person.
No, you're 100% right. 100% right. It's crazy. Things are just heating up. We'll have more football stuff to discuss next week. Today is a short show so that I can get some other things done that have to be done relatively early compared to usual. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Chris, there's nothing breaking, nothing that I've seen, right? You don't see anything?
No. Hang on. That's crazy. There's a report. Hugh Jackson says the Browns would have rejected the deal for Russell Wilson that we talked about yesterday, no matter what.
Hugh Jackson is a fool.
I hate that man.
He's such a fool. He wasn't even involved with that crap anyway.
No, that was conversations above his pay grade.
100%. That's so
God,
stupid.
That guy's such a tool.
God bless America. Michael said, have a great weekend, fellas. Gary, I need to get you some of this peanut butter whiskey. Gig 'em. Matt said, coach is trying to keep their job, so they need to win. Yeah, they need to win. But, if a player tells him he's not playing, I think he's talking about I thought he was talking about the college athletes. But now I'm wondering, well, Hugh doesn't have a job right now, does he?
No, Hugh doesn't have a job.
I didn't figure he did. Good gracious. So that is going to wrap up today's show.
Let's get out of here.
I got some things I got to take care of. We'll talk crap about Hugh Jackson next week. So I don't think that'll be too hard to do. Anyway, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Of course, Matt said it's all about the college athletes. 100%. Always about the athletes. And it should be. Absolutely should be. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you all for jumping in on the chat. If you would, share the show out with your friends. It's very easy. Just click the share button on whatever platform you're watching on or listening or whatever. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast, subscribe to the live show, etc. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We're going to see you guys again on Monday. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and